All right, let's test the mic. Mic is working fine. Right, the first over is underway, and so far the score is two for the loss of no wickets. England and Sri Lanka have opted to bowl first in these overcast conditions. Well, let's see if their decision will prove to be right. We shall know in about 3.5 hours. Madhu Shankar is the bowler. So far, this has been a rather quiet over, I must say. There has been no real sign of aggression from either of the batsmen as the score stands at three for the loss of no wickets. Oh, that was a full toss and that was flicked away to the leg side. I think Butler would feel he missed out on an opportunity here because it was there for the taking. He just managed to flick it to third man. In the end, he manages to get a single. And at the end of the first over, England scores for the loss of zero wickets. This is a very crucial match in the Super 8s. Remember that in the Super 8s, almost every match is as good as a knockout, but you cannot afford to slip because once you let go of those 2 points, it can be very, very difficult to come back because this is a brutal Super 8 format as Sri Lanka move towards spin. We see spin for the very first time right in the second over. Then Gunit Pilalage with his slow left arm spin, a very talented bowler, known to be a wicket taker. Let's see how Salt and Butler negotiate this over. He decides to play him with caution, Joss Butler, just tapping it towards the close in fielder, and that would be a dot ball. Next ball is tapped away towards the leg side, as it is only a single. This brings Salt onto the crease. I don't think Phil Salt is going to remain quiet for very long because it is in his nature to attack in the power play. So far, he's 2 from 2, so you can expect some attacking shots at this over. The only question is when. It's 5 for 0 so far. So no rain at Palekele Candy. And just like I predicted, Phil Salt deposits Velalage right into the stands. Inside out shot over the covers and hit with a lot of power. That was his welcome gift to Dunit Velalage. Oh, it was hit with substantial amount of power. It's not everyone's shot. Well, the first boundary for England is here, and that takes the English score to 12 for the loss of no wickets. Wisely takes a single off the next ball to bring a Butler into strike. This is how Phil Salt plays actually. And in fact, I'll give you a very nice fun fact. Phil Salt has the highest strike rate in power play among all openers in the world. So that shows you he's extremely quick to get off the mark and he does not like to waste time. As we see him again facing Villalage for the last ball of this over. Let's see if Villalage can close it well enough. Well, it was in the air for a second, but nothing to worry about as that is safely played out by Phil Salt. At the end of 2 overs, England is 13 for the loss of no wickets. You have to remember that the path to the Super 8 has not been easy for England. They were almost defeated by Nepal, who brought them till the very last ball of the match. It was a last ball finish where they could not hit a six. They were also defeated by the West Indies, who are in the other group. So, and also, you have to remember that the game against Italy, I would not call it a close game, but they did give a tough fight to England. So it has been a shaky start to the tournament by England so far. As we move on to the third over, Madhushankar will bowl it. Butler will be facing. It's on the leg side as Butler flicks it, attempting to hit a boundary, but that is very well fielded in the boundary. That was an excellent effort by the fielder. We need to see more such fielding efforts. And I'm sure Sri Lanka are very much capable of that. It's a much improved Sri Lankan side in this tournament. He flung himself at the ball and manages to save two for his side. Madhushankar runs into bowl again. It will be Butler once more. Let's see if he changes his lineup. I think he is drifting too far onto the pads. He corrects himself this ball as that is a wideish Yorker and that goes straight to the fielder. That would be a dot ball. Today's milestone. Phil Salt needs four sixes for 350 in T20s. Josh Butler needs 28 runs for 500 in T20s versus Sri Lanka, and Liam Dawson needs 53 for 3,000 runs in T20s. Lots of milestones on offer today. Madhushankar runs into ball again, and that is yet another dot ball, as that was another wide Yorker, and Butler could do nothing with it really. It has been a cautious start by Josh Butler, 6 from 10 deliveries. It is one of the slowest starts I have seen from him. While he is not as free scoring as Phil Salt, you can expect him to score more runs from 10 deliveries, to be very honest. He is looking just a little bit circumspect. And you have to give it to the Sri Lankan bowlers. They have been on the money so far. Very rarely have you seen a loose delivery from them. And the next ball is again a dot ball. What is happening? Three dot balls in a row. The crowd is extremely happy. That was not really a Yorker, but that was a full length delivery angled across the offside. And Butler could not put back the ball second time in a row. 6 from 11 Butler. This is not the Josh Butler we know. Oh, that goes through again, yet again. And that is just two of the overs so far. This Butler has played out four drop balls in a row. Would you believe that? And this has been an excellent over from Madhushankar so far. Madhushankar runs into ball again to Butler. Finally, he manages to get back to ball. Goes to the fielder who kinds of misfields. That would be only three runs from the over as it is 16 for the loss of no wickets after three. A sedate start from England, I must say. The only boundary of the innings has been a thumping six from Phil Salt of the bowling of Phil Lagay, while Josh Butler is on 7 of 13. Very unlike him. We see some amount of difficulty in this pitch already. Doesn't look like that. It's just been a play and a miss. But so far, I don't think this is a tacky wicket. It looks like a wicket where 170, 180 would not be a difficult score in the first innings. Oh, well, again, it is again. Oh, that was an attempted reverse sweep, and that is out. Would you believe it? That is out. Josh Butler had been struggling throughout the innings, and in desperation, he tries a reverse, almost a switch kick after bowling of Fela Lagay, and that was hit plumb in front of the stumps, and they decide not to go for the DRS because Phil Salt saw it as well. It was a plumb decision. There was nothing anyone could do about it. Hit straight on the thighs, and that would have gone on to hit middle. A perfect decision taken by the umpire. Excellent bowling by Sri Lanka. And it is 16 for 1 at the end of 3.1 overs. A scratchy innings by Josh Butler. 7 of 14. The Sri Lankans have made an ideal start to this power play, and their decision to bowl first is getting justified each minute. Batting is not at all easy on this wicket, at least not in the power play so far. And Jacob Bethel comes to the crease, a future superstar of England and a very young, talented batsman. Will he manage to do any different? Oh, that wasn't the most attractive shot I've ever seen Josh Butler play because I don't know what he was doing there, to be honest. Why would you attempt a switch hit of a spinner in the power play when there are enough gaps out there? Strange decision by Josh Butler, but he has to pay the penalty. He is back in the dugout as we see a Jacob Bethel take the strike for the first time. He is someone who can play the long innings and big shot both at the same time. A very dangerous batsman. Bethel deflects it towards the leg side and takes a quick single and says, "It's all yours, Phil Salt." Phil Salt will have to be the aggressor here. He has already got his eye in 9 from 6 deliveries, and he will have to make this power play count because they can't really let it pass at the current run rate of 4.86. That is simply not practical. Ilalage runs into bowl for his fourth delivery, and that is again taken for a single by Phil Salt. An unusually cautious approach by Sri Lanka so far. This pitch, Palekele Stadium, Kandy, is not really playing out the way the Colombo pitches are playing. There's a slight amount of difference. This one seems to be a bit more batting friendly, but not too much. Bethel pulls that one towards the fielder, and they can only manage a single as the score ticks along to 19 for 1 slowly. Jacob Bethel is known to favor the pull shot. It is one of his most productive shots as the strike goes to Phil Salt, and he powers one through the covers, pierces the gap, and that would be 4 runs for Phil Salt. Score is 23 for 1 at the end of 4. This has been a great start by Sri Lanka so far. They have bowled in the right areas and they have justified their decision to bowl first. And they trapped Josh Butler in a web of dot balls. And finally, out of desperation, he attempted a switch hit and was plumb LBW. The wicket going to Tonit Vellalage as Madhushanka. Madhushanka is also a main contributor to the wicket that Vellalage took because he had been building up the pressure with his dot ball. So far, he has only conceded 7 of his 2 overs. Oh, and they attempt to take a quick single and they succeed. So that would be 1 from the first delivery as the score moves to 24 for 1. The run rate of England is a bit of a worry for them because it's only 5.76, so they have not been able to capitalize on the power play so far. And that is exactly what Phil Salt is known to do. Will he change their circumstances in the next few deliveries? We'll have to wait and watch. So far, it is Sri Lanka firmly on top. The next one is almost a full toss there, a low full toss. And there is nothing really Salt could do with it. He would be blaming himself now because he could have attempted a big shot. But anyways, it just deflects off his bat and goes straight to the fielder for only a top ball. Well, as of now, Sri Lanka have this game firmly in their grip. They have not allowed England to get away anywhere. Oh, that goes straight to the wicketkeeper. Play and a miss by Phil Salt. That is an excellent strategy that has worked both against Butler and Salt. Foolish length, just near the wide line, almost a wideish Yorker. And so far, they have found no answers to this bowling. So that is yet another dot ball. Just as we saw in the last over when Josh Butler was struggling with a flurry of dot balls. Well, this over is turning out to be no different. So far, it has been three dot balls in a trot against Phil Salt. Well, will he succumb to the pressure and try to play a fancy shot just like Joss Butler, or will he manage to break free? We shall know very soon as Madhushanka runs into bowl. Oh, that would be a boundary, yes, but that is a very lucky boundary for Phil Salt. He attempted to hit it elsewhere, but it took the top edge, but that completely missed the fielder who could do nothing about it. That goes behind the square for 4 runs, but four very scratchy runs. That was a genuine outside edge and was almost a chance for Mahesh Theekshana. That would have taken some jaunty roads kind of effort to catch. Anyways, the scorecard will say that Phil Salt got his 4 runs. That would help ease the pressure somewhat that Madhushanka has been building steadily as the score moves to 28 for the loss of 1. Oh, that is drilled through the covers. That is a much more fluent shot than the previous one. As the over goes for 9, and at the end of 5, England are 32 for 1. Still, I would say it's advantage Sri Lanka, as the run rate is not much more than 6. It is 6.4 only. We have seen power play scores of 70, 80, even 90 when Phil Salt has been going berserk in T20 internationals. Today it is only 32. Both teams know the importance of this match. This could be a virtual knockout since Pakistan and New Zealand have scored a point each. So the team that loses today would be left stranded on 0 points with only 2 games to go. High stakes game, this one, as we see the first glimpse of Mahesh Theekshana, a wily off spin bowler, also has plenty of mysteries up his sleeve. The carom ball, the arm ball, the one that goes the other way. A very seasoned campaigner. Let's see if he is able to keep these two quiet. Jacob Bethel facing Mahesh Theekshana, and that is out. Theekshana gets a wicket off his very first delivery. That was an edge by Bethel. No idea what shot he was attempting there, but that was a leading edge that was in the air for a while and the fielder making no mistake at all. He had attempted to slog it into the stands but could only offer an outside edge, and that was caught really well as Sri Lanka firmly on top of this game. The score is 32 for 2, and this power play has been a very unproductive one for England. They have lost 2 wickets and have, well, only 32 on board to show for it. They are using these home conditions in a great way, Sri Lankans. It only remains to be seen if they can follow up this tight power play with a good middle phase as well. Because if they manage to keep England quiet in the middle overs, that will be too much pressure on their late order batsmen for a late flourish. Manton is the new batsman who joins Phil Salt at the crease. Well, the dangerous still Phil Salt is still batting out there, and he has raced to 22 of 13. He remains the main threat as the umpires announce a drinks break. Usually it is taken at the end of 6 overs, but today, since the wicket fell of the first ball of the sixth over, they have decided to take it right now. So far, the summary of the match is Phil Salt 22 from 13 balls. Joss Butler looked totally out of place today. for some reason and he could not get back to ball. He fell while attempting a switch hit of the bowling of Durit Velalage. Jacob Bethel in the last ball that was bowled. He attempted a wild slog towards mid-on, but could only give an outside edge, and the ball was ballooning up in the air for a while. And that was an excellent catch as England is reduced to 32 for 2. If they were targeting something like 170, 180, well, they will really have to pull up their socks because that would mean going at 10 and over for the remaining overs. As things stand now, it is looking increasingly difficult because the Sri Lankans have a chokehold on this game right now. The run rate is only 6.19. All right, the drinks break is over. The players have taken their positions as we see Ikshana attempting to bowl again. Next ball is guided towards a fielder for a very casually taken single. Tom Banton gets off the mark. The strike goes back to Phil Salt, who is 22 of 13 and has looked the best England batsman so far. We all know what he can do once he really gets going. Once Phil Salt is set, it is not impossible for him to score a 40 ball 100, as we all know. Oh, that is a dot ball as he attempted to power it through the covers, but was intercepted by the fielder. That would be a dot ball only. Oh, that is a white ball. He'll have to bowl this again. Got just a bit overexcited and attempted to fire that one in, but missed his line. That would be the first run from extras in the England innings. That shows you it has been a disciplined bowling effort so far. Phil Salt again takes a quick single that brings the score to 35 for the loss of 2 wickets. Brings Banton back on a strike. A fine over by Theekshana so far, only 3 runs conceded, 1 wicket taken. Sri Lanka has had a mixed campaign so far. They did defeat Australia, but also lost to Zimbabwe. While that is no disrespect to Zimbabwe, I would say in home conditions, people would have favored Sri Lanka to get the job done. But that was a bit of a wake up call for them, and they will go into the Super 8s knowing that they need to win virtually every match. It's a very brutal format, the Super 8s, and even a single loss can put you out of contention. Both of these teams would be aware of that. Maybe that explains the slightly cautious approach by England. Oh, that is a fine pull shot by Phil Salt, but that can only go for a single that is intercepted by third man at the end of 6 overs. England is 37 for the loss of 2. Well, if you ask me for a review of the power play, I would say it is completely dominated by Sri Lanka. There have been only 3 or 4 boundaries, including a six by Phil Salt, but other than that, it has been a mixture of dot ball singles and a couple of wickets. If you had asked Sri Lanka if they would have taken 37 for 2 at the end of the power play, They would have grabbed the opportunity with both hands as they have right now. The umpire announces the end of the power play as we see Hemanta come into bowl for the first time. Phil Salt would be critical to England's plans right now because he is the set batsman and he has to continue for a while now. Because if another wicket falls at this juncture, well, the next ball is a dot ball as Salt just prods it towards the fielder. Hemanta is a leg break bowler and he is known to give flight to the ball. Played towards the leg side for a single. Well, the only question is how long will these two batsmen resist the temptation of hitting the leg spinner up in the air? Won't be too long, I guess, because 6 overs have already passed. They have only 14 overs to make an impression. And if they are targeting 180, well, they would need one big shot each over. And as of now, well, they have been found lacking, to put it simply. That was almost a Yorker end delivery by the spinner Hemanta, and again played to the leg side for a single by Phil Salt. By Banton, I'm sorry. Phil Salt is on strike again. That one is swept for a brutal four by Phil Salt. Just sat down on his haunches and swept it with all his might. That went towards the boundary like a trace bullet. What a fantastic shot that was. Absolutely no worries. They need a lot more than those if they are to put up a good score that will challenge Sri Lanka. Phil Salt pulls away before the next ball is delivered. Six from this over so far from four deliveries. He takes a single to give the strike to Tom Banton. Banton has so far only scored three from three. He will have a good look at the bowling before he really begins firing because remember, Manton is also known for his explosive batting in the T20 leagues around the world. That over by Hemanta goes for 8 as the score moves to 45 for 2. If you are here for the first time, please drop a like and subscribe as this is one of the very few English commentary streams that you will find online. So please support a growing channel by leaving a subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. All right, we move towards the next over and we see a first glimpse of Dushyant Chamil. The first ball is taken for a single. He has got a decent amount of pace, Dushyant Chavira, up there in the 140s. He has a bit of tendency to get injured, but he is a fine bowler. As England move to 46 for 2 with that single of 7.1 overs. So far, the run rate has been very pedestrian, I must say. It is only 6.42, and they would need to do much better if they are to pose a challenging total to Sri Lanka, who have specifically chosen to bowl on this pitch. Maybe they had some knowledge of how this pitch would behave at the first innings. Phil Salt on strike at 30 of 20. He can again only guide it towards the fielder as that is yet another single in the name of Phil Salt. They have a fine bowling lineup in these conditions. Even after the loss of Wanindu Hasaranga due to injury, they have all kinds of bowlers to pose a lot of threat to the English batsmen. Even after the loss of Pathirana, I must say, two very important assets for Sri Lanka. Again, a single as the first three bowls go for three singles, brings the score to 48 for the loss of two. Three balls of this Chamira over to go. Let's see if he is able to keep them quiet. That would be an achievement as Salt is batting on 31 of 21. And again, that is bowled on the pads, but there is not much a Salt can do with it apart from taking a single. That brings the score to 49 for the loss of two. This is exactly the kind of bowling start the doctor had ordered for Sri Lanka. They have not allowed the English batsmen to dominate them at all. And this means there would be a lot of pressure on the lower order hitters to get to a great score because right now this innings doesn't seem to be heading off anywhere. Oh, that was a very risky single indeed. And I fear that is a run out. I fear Banton is out. There was absolutely no need for that single. Absolutely no need for that single. Well, he seems to be walking back without waiting for the third umpire. And you can see why, because the bails were dislodged long before Tom Banton had a chance. And that is a fine direct hit, resulting in a run out. Tom Banton has to go back for a meager returns of 6 runs. And this English innings is in real trouble, I must say. Real big trouble. That brings the captain Harry Brook to the crease to do a repair job. But the question is he capable of doing a repair job? Because he has been known to play in only one mode in any format of the game, be it tests, ODIs, or T20s. There's only one year he plays in. So will he be able to hang around to give Phil Salt a chance to score some big runs? Of course, he will also make his contributions. He is simply not one to keep quiet at any stage of the game. It remains to be seen how he manages against the likes of Shamira. Absolutely unnecessary single that was called by Banton himself. And just at the last moment, it looked like the bat slipped from his grip while he was diving. Very unfortunate. But that was an exceptional throw by the captain Dasun Shanaka as a Banton looked very dejected. He did not even wait for the official decision. He knew it. He knew it was out. All right. It would be Salt on strike and not Harry Brook because they had crossed during the course of attempting that run. Oh, Salt attempts a wild hook shot. but that completely misses the bat because of the pace of the Shamira and goes straight to the wicketkeeper. Only four from that over as at the end of eight, England are 49 for three. They find themselves in a very tricky situation now, England. With only 12 overs to go, a score of 180 is looking increasingly difficult. Will something like a 160, 165 be enough on this pitch? Well, that is a code they will have to figure out themselves, as you can be sure that Sri Lanka will not be ready to concede an inch on their home territory. They have been great at this tournament so far. Despite the loss to Zimbabwe, they managed a win against Australia. And to be fair, Zimbabwe has not been playing like minnows this tournament at all. They have been playing like World Cup contenders. So it is no shame to lose to them. Hemanta continues as Salt just takes a single. He is playing a cautious innings now because he has been rapidly running out of partners. That needed a much quicker dive by Banton, who only dived at the last possible second, and the bat slipped out of his hand for an inspirational run out by the captain. Oh, that is a full toss to Phil Salt, but he is not able to do anything with it. Can only get a single. If you ask me, I would say Sri Lanka are favorites to win this game right now because they have not allowed England to get away at all. 51 deliveries being balled and only 51 runs scored. That's a run rate of 6. And a run rate of 6 is simply not enough in today's T20 cricket. Oh, Brook attempted one of his rather cute shots, a reverse paddle sweep, but that goes straight to the fielder. But it looked obvious that it uh, must have hit the ground. Only Dasun Shanaka was interested, not the umpires. It was nicely flighted. And yes, it hit the ground before going to the fielder, so that will be a not out. All right, let's see what the next delivery brings. He charges down the pitch, and they would attempt to get 2 runs of it. Oh my goodness, that is a tragedy. As they attempted to throw the ball, it results in 4 overthrows, and a total of 6 runs will come from that ball. Would you believe it? Everything was going perfectly, and they would have restricted England to only 2 runs. But that is a wild throw that the bowler could not intercept, and that goes for 4 overthrow. 6 of that single ball. It would have been out by miles if it had been a direct hit, but it was not to be. Cricket is an unfair sport, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed. 58 for 3 of 8.5 as Brook takes a single again. And at the end of 9, England are 59 for 3. They would really need to accelerate now if they are looking at a score beyond 170, 180. Because the way things are going, the run rate is only 6.56. And if they do something like a score of 150, 160, I think the kind of form Pathum Nissanka is in, it wouldn't be very difficult for Sri Lanka to chase it off. soon. But again, it remains to be seen how the rest of the innings unfolds, as England are perfectly capable of accelerating. Coming up later today is the big match, India versus South Africa. We will be streaming it from this channel, so please stay tuned and please subscribe if you haven't done that already. We see a return of Dunit Velalage, 1 for 18 from 2.1 overs. As they again attempt a quick double, but this time they make it home in time. They are having to rely on these quick singles and twos because boundaries have not been easy to come by at all. They have had to fight hard for their runs, and so far they have only managed 61 of them. An extremely tight bowling display by Sri Lanka so far. Gunit Velalage again fires it in quickly, and Salt only defends it, and that would be a dot ball. Salt is playing on 36 of 27, and he has kind of taken over the role of the anchor now because he knows that they cannot afford to lose his wicket. If he is still around, he can always taunt the bowlers to all parts of the grounds later on. But if they lose his wicket right now, that could possibly be the game for England. Projected score right now is 163, and they would want to do a lot more than that. And that 163 would come if they take along at 10 and over. Right now, they're only going at 6.5. And Velalagi runs in again. And Brook charges down the bridge, straight over the bowler's head. And that is a fantastic straight hit. That would go for four as it takes the English score to 66 for the loss of 3 wickets. What a fine shot. That brings the tally of tournaments 4 to 1049. So that is well run by the two batsmen. This has looked like a busy innings by Brook so far. He has been quick to go for the runs whenever the opportunity has presented itself. What will he do now? Oh, that is a huge appeal for LBW, and well, it will go for review, but I think that's out. I think they have lost yet another wicket. That wrapped onto the pads, and we will see if there was an outside edge. No, there was no outside edge. There is a daylight between bat and pad as we see the ball striking the pad, so right in front of the stumps. Only ball tracking can save Harry Brook now, but I don't think it will. Struck right, impact in line, wickets umpire's call. So Harry Brook will have to return to his dugout as that is a well-deserved wicket for Velalage. Whoa. 68 for 4 at the end of 10, England. This innings is left stranded, and they will really have to conjure something up to rescue this innings now. Even if they go at 10 and over now, they would only reach about 165, 170. So, a big challenge coming up for England. As for Sri Lanka, they have been extremely disciplined with their bowling and fielding, and it is a perfect start for them. What more can you ask from a team? A very disciplined effort, and they look like a team on a mission. The next batsman on crease is Sam Curran as he joins Phil Salt. They seem to be having a serious discussion, probably sketching out a strategy for the next 5 overs as they desperately need a partnership. Sri Lanka all over England right now, heavy favorites to win this game. Right now, I would say it is 80% in favor of Sri Lanka. If they just keep building the pressure, it will be an easy victory for them. All right, we see Hemanta again as he bowls to Phil Salt. Phil Salt has been quiet for a while. What will be his approach? His approach would be to go for the most aggressive shot possible as he lofts it inside out over the covers for 4 runs. It is not easy to keep this man quiet for long, and he finally shows what devastating power play he is capable of. Just lofts it over the fielder, and there was no chance for third man as that disappears for 4. This takes the score to 72 for 4. Hemanta bowling to Phil Salt again. And that is swept away, but it will be intercepted by the fielder. Only a single as Sam Curran gets the strike for the first time. Guys, if you're here for the first time, please consider leaving a subscribe as that would really help me increase my reach, and the like wouldn't hurt as well. Hemanta once more pulling his third delivery. Sam Curran is on strike. Sam Curran has often played the crisis innings for England, coming in to bat when the chips are down and guiding the team towards a safe total and also playing the big shots whenever necessary. He is known for having a cool head on his shoulders. Well, let's see if he is able to do it. That would be a single as the strike goes to Phil Salt again. Phil Salt quietly deflects it to the leg side and attempts a quick double. It looked like it was going to be a single for a while, but well, looks like it's going to be 2 runs. 76 for 4, the English score, and current run rate is barely 7 runs and over. Barely. It would need something big from the lower order English batsman and Phil Salt if England are to post a competitive score. As he plays it along the ground for a single to end the over. At the end of 11, England are 77 for the loss of 4 wickets. Phil Salt is batting on 45 for 2, and he has been the pick of the batsman by far. Sam Curran has only faced two balls so far for one solitary run. The batsmen coming up, Will Jacks, Liam Dawson, Jamie Orton, Jofra Archer, and Adil Rashid. They can bat right till nine, England. So they have a very deep batting lineup. So far, the pick of the bowlers has been Villalage, 25 for two of his three. Ikshana resumes duties as Phil Salt would be the batsman to face him. At the end of 11 overs, England have managed 77 for 4. If you're joining for the first time, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe. Is is one of the very few English commentary streams you'll find on YouTube. Phil Salt gets ready to face Theekshana. As he plays it towards the leg side, for a while it looked like it was going to race towards the boundary, but that was fielded well, and he can only get a couple of runs as he moves on to 47. Phil Salt is very critical to England's plans. He has to be the mainstay at the wicket if they want to get to a score above 160, 170. He simply has to keep batting. He cannot afford to lose his wicket or throw it away. He takes a single of the next delivery, and that brings Sam Curran on strike. It has been a disciplined effort by Mahesh Theekshana so far. 8 runs of one wicket. He's bowling in his second over. This is a virtual knockout game. Not really. It's not like the losing team will be out of the tournament, but a defeat here would mean a huge blow to their chances of going to the semis. They will then have to wait anxiously for the results to go their way. So both teams would be aware that this is a virtual must-win match. Sam Curran gets ready to face Theekshana again, as that is again cautiously played towards the leg side for another single. They seem to be happy taking the singles and rotating the strike right now. I'm guessing they would continue this way till the 15th over, after which they would look to attack, and that is a wise strategy. They do not have a lot of proper batsmen to come. One more wicket, and it will be Will Jacks, and then it will be the bowling all rounders to come. Phil Salt takes yet another single and moves to 49 of 35. Oh, that is played for a single by Sam Curran, and that ends the over. As at the end of 12 overs, England are 83 for the loss of 4 wickets, a run rate below 7. That would be worrying them the most. It's not the 4 wickets as that we see on the scoreboard, it's the low run rate that would be hurting them. Because England is not generally a team that is known to play sheet anchors, or a team that struggles to get to 150, 160. They are very accustomed to getting scores of 200 and above. But well, today it is looking almost impossible. If they have to get 200 from here, someone will have to play a blinder of a knock. 170, 180 is maybe more realistic, but even that is going to take a lot of effort. Karun gets ready to face Hemanta again. It's a dot ball as Karun chooses to defend it. 4 from 7, Sam Curran. Phil Salt is batting at 49 of 35, and he is on strike again as Curran takes a single. Will he manage to get his 50 in this ball? We were seeing overcast conditions a while earlier, but now we look to be having a sunlight, and it is very likely that this game will pass off without any rain incident. That is quietly deflected to the leg side by Phil Salt as he gets his 50. A very mature innings by him. We all know how destructive he can be, but he has chosen to play for the greater good of the team. He has been the rock as wickets have tumbled around him. Sam Curran is on strike and he will have to contribute as well. They cannot just rely on Phil Salt to score all the runs. Some of the runs have to come from the other batsmen, and that would really help. That is a six by Sam Curran, deposited right into the stands. That was a sweep slog, and Sam Curran had no difficulty reading that delivery as that is firmly into the stands. No problem whatsoever. All right. That six brings the score to 92 for four now. As the next ball is wisely played for a single by Sam Curran. The last delivery to go will be faced by Phil Salt. He has raced to 50 of 36. He could have gotten there even quicker, but he has chosen to play an innings that is required of him from his team, and he has been watchful at times. This time he manages to get a double, as that is well fielded near the boundary. At the end of 13, England are at 94 for 4, still only managing 7 and over. With only 7 overs to go now, I think one of these two, Phil Salt or Sam Curran, one of these two have to cut loose. They cannot be waiting forever to wait for the bad delivery because 7 overs in essence is only 42 deliveries. So they have 42 attempts, out of which they would want at least 15 to disappear to the fence. An extremely disciplined bowling effort by Sri Lanka so far. And considering the in-form batting lineup they have, they would not have a problem chasing something like a 160, 165 total, which is where this innings seems to be headed. But do Phil Salt and Sam Curran have some tricks left up their sleeves? Only time will tell as we see a return of Dushan Shamira this over. Sam Curran. Oh, that was a play and a miss. And for a while, the wicketkeeper seemed interested, but that was no edge. That would just be a dot ball as it deflects off the seam. Well, it looks like Sam Curran has made up his mind that he would go after the bowlers as they cannot risk losing Phil Salt just yet. Sam Curran it will be again facing the second delivery of this over of Vishen Shamira. The first has already gone for a dot. That is hoiked into the air, and that will be caught comfortably by the fielder near the boundary. That would be a wicket for the Shamira. Well, the scoreboard pressure was piling, and they had to go for runs. And in the process, Sam Curran succumbs. That was a fine calculated catch as the Shamira celebrates his wicket with a lot of gusto. Sam Curran walks back for a score of 11 of 11, and England stand at 94 for 5 of 13.2 overs. It brings Will Jacks back to the crease. Will Jacks is known for his explosive bowling, for his explosive batting, I'm sorry. And the umpires have announced a drinks break in the meanwhile because of the wicket. The summary so far, well, England started a bit on a cautious note and Joss Butler was looking scratchy. He finally fell while attempting a reverse slog of the bowling of Will Lallagay. He was plumb LBW. And after that, the wickets just kept tumbling every couple of overs. And as things stand now, they are at 94 for 5. And Sri Lanka would be loving this. After opting to bowl first, would not have been an easy decision. But after opting to bowl first, they have just got the dream start. Well, it's not even a start. This innings is about to end, to be honest. And only 40 deliveries remain, as England are yet to cross the score of 100. The pick of the bowlers so far has been Dulit Vellalage with 2 for 25 of 3. As the drinks break comes to an end, we return back to some on-field action. You have to give some credit to Sri Lanka over here because they have not looked like an inferior side even after losing Wanindu Hasaranga and Matisha Patirana to injuries. It is still looking like a well-oiled bowling machine. Will Jacks comes in at number 7. Samira runs into bowl to Will Jacks, facing his first ball. Oh, that was the most perfect Yorker, delivered at pace, and Will Jacks could only manage to keep it away from his stumps by bringing down his bat in the nick of time. Will Jacks will have to get going soon because otherwise there would be simply too much pressure on Phil Salt. You cannot expect him to shoulder the entire burden as he does get off the mark to bring Phil Salt back to strike. It is the 14th over as the score is 95 for 5. They have had a shaky start to their campaign, England, so far, with with a very scratchy win against Nepal, and Italy also pushed them hard, and the West Indies defeated them. That is played through the covers by Phil Salt, and that would be a lucky boundary for him, as that is a very poor misfield by Kamindu Mendes. He is actually known for his better fielding at the side, Kamindu. Well, in this case, he just let it slip between his feet. He wouldn't want to look at that replay at all. Tamira looks a bit disappointed, as does the captain, Shanaka. It is a 99 for 5 at the end of 13.5 overs. Oh, that one flies for 6 of the blade of Phil Salt. He just pulls it into the air towards the leg side, and it manages to cross the fence to 4 runs. Well, well, well. Is this finally the sign that this England innings is taking a turn for the better? Because after the end of 14, it is now 105 for 5. The mandate is simple for them. At least try and get 10 to 12 runs an over each over, and you will manage something like a 170. Velalage returns to bowl, the finest bowler so far. So that is a single as the strike goes back to Phil Salt. Lots of pressure on Phil Salt, and he plays it straight into the air, and that would be yet another easy catch for the fielder. Third wicket for Dunit Vellalage, and that is the end of Phil Salt, the most dangerous batsman so far. He has to go back to the dugout. He could not get on top of the ball, and though that was hit with enormous power, it could not clear the fielder. Phil Salt will have to return, and Sri Lanka now absolutely dominating this game. And it would take an extraordinary effort from England to save the game from here on, because this innings never really seemed to be going anywhere, and it is still the case. Every time it feels like a partnership is building, a wicket would fall. That has been the trend of this innings so far. All right, the next ball will be taken by Villalagi again as he bowls to Liam Dawson, the new batsman. We are into the bowling all rounders now, and Dawson is completely capable of batting, as he has very close to 3,000 T20 runs in his career. But have a feeling it will be Will Jacks to look for the big shots. The first two balls to Liam Dawson have been dot balls, and that would be another dot ball. Well, well, well. A rather quiet 15th over so far. Will he finish this over with another dot ball? Remains to be seen. That is exactly what happens as Dawson cannot get it beyond square, and that is yet another odd ball as the score is 106 for 6. All right, at the end of 15th over, England is 106 for 6 as Liam Dawson has yet to open his account in four deliveries. He's only managed to score zero, while Will Jacks has scored three from his four runs. Will Salt, who was looking set, is now back in the dugout. Run scoring has been difficult on this pitch so far, but I would say this has been some extremely disciplined bowling by the Sri Lankans as well. Apart from Phil Salt, they have not let any batsman score freely, and it now looks like an uphill task for England even to get to a score of 160. That is taken for a single by Liam Dawson, who finally gets off the mark of his fifth delivery. This is no time for consolidation now. These are the last 5 overs, the decisive phase of the match, and they will have to fire on all cylinders. At least look for 12 and over. But it is even a single is looking difficult sometimes, considering the way the pitch is behaving. Lasitmal Malinga is in deep discussion with the captain Shanaka at the boundary. Ikshana allows a single of the fourth ball as the score crawls to 110 for 6. All the bowlers so far, apart from Hemanta, have been very economical. Run rates of economy rates of 5, 7, 6 in a T20 game, that is gold. Will Jacks has had the best strike rate in this, third best strike rate in this World Cup, 193, while the best one is Ishan Kishan with 202. Minimum criteria is 100 runs. Oh, as that one is powered through the covers by Will Jacks. Finally, a welcome boundary for England. Is this too little too late as the score races to 114 for 6 at the end of 16 overs? The run rate is only 7 so far. Only 7 and over. From here on, if England score at 10 and over, they would only reach 154. And if they manage to score at 12 and over, well, it wouldn't be much different. Maybe something like a 165 at the end of it. So it looks like a difficult task about for England. Will these two batsmen be able to pull off something magical? The next batsman on crease is Dasun Chamira, the next bowler, I'm sorry. And he will be bowling to Liam Dawson, a very quiet Liam Dawson, Only scored 2 of 6. He will have to do much better than that. All right, let's see if they manage to score a few against Chamira. Dawson, the man on strike. He charges down the track, but that goes safely towards the wicket keeper. Dawson is still 2 runs of 7 balls. Simply unacceptable. I'm sure he will get a message from the dressing room soon, either get out or get out. Because if he continues like this, well, England will have to be content with a score of something like 140, as that is a full toss, and Dawson is not able to take full advantage of that, as that goes for a single. Will Jackson strike again? Will he manage to pull England back from the doldrums? All right. As we see Shamira steaming into bowl the next. Oh, that is powered through the covers by Will Jennings. A fine shot. He has done that once before already, and he does it again as the score moves along to 119 for 6. It will have to be Will Jacks to give England some chance at a decent total, because so far the others have not really lived up to the mark, apart from maybe Phil Salt. Jacks will have to capitalize. He has to put other Sri Lankan bowlers under pressure, something that has not been achieved so far in this match. Well, there goes a wide. Some welcome runs for England. That brings the score to 120 for 6. India versus South Africa, the big match coming up at 7 p.m. A critical Super 8 encounter that would decide the fate of two teams. Not quite a must win, but somewhat of a must win. All right, as the happy Sri Lankan fans in the stands celebrate. So far, it's 16.4 overs, 121 for 6. Dushan Shamira runs into bowl to Liam Dawson, who is clearly struggling. And he continues his struggle as he is only able to get a single of his pull shot. In fact, that would be 2 runs. 123 for 6. Liam Dawson will have to find a way to hit some big shots now, because he is not really helping England's cause right now. That has allowed Sri Lanka to maintain their chokehold over this game. All right, as Liam Dawson gets a single, that brings England score to 124 for 6 after 17 overs. And that puts enormous pressure on England now to get something like a 40 from the last 3 overs. But looking at the pitch so far, it has given no indication that big shots are really possible. Very few sixes hit today. We'll have to see if the Sri Lankans are able to do any better on this pitch. But whatever the case, they would have a firm target in front of their minds as Liam Dawson resumes at 6 of 10 deliveries. Shana to bowl. He charges down the track and flicks it into the air, and that would be out. Well, that was the need of the hour. He either needed to hit out or get out, and he chose to hit out, but at the end, it was a top edge that carried to the fielder, and that would be the seventh wicket to fall down for England. 124 for 7. It now looks increasingly possible that England will not be able to finish the full quota of overs. They might even be all out before 20. Well, who would have thought? I was expecting England to put on at least 170, 180, to be honest. But that is looking like a very distant dream right now, as they would be more than happy to reach 150 right now. Even 160 would be a bit of a stretch, if you ask me. A desperate and dire situation for England right now as they reach 124 for 7. Jamie Overton comes to the crease. He is capable of hitting the big shots, by the way. Not this time, though, as he is welcomed by Theekshana with a carom ball, and he can only defend it for no runs. Let's see if Jamie Overton is able to break the shackles. Not this delivery, as it is a marginal wide called by the umpire. Tried to cramp him on the offside, but it was just a bit too wide. Overton once again played back towards the bowler, Theekshana. Well, the next ball is a dot ball as well, as it cuts onto the pads. And Theekshana is bowling an exceptional over. Only one of it so far, from 4 legitimate deliveries. Overton so far has been able to do nothing, 0 of 3. Will he be able to close out this over with a bang? There's not a lot of time remaining with England. Whatever they need to do it now. They need to do it each delivery. He takes a single to give the strike to Will Jacks. That would help relieve him a little bit, getting off the mark. All right, as we approach the end of the 18th over, Shana bowling very well, I must say. Only two of this over so far. How will he close out this over? Oh, he closes us out with a dot ball as there's nothing Jacks can do with that wideish delivery uh, outside of off. At the end of 18, England are 126 for 7. This has been an exceptional bowling performance by Sri Lanka. Yes, the pitch is a little bit tricky. It is not easy to hit those sixes. But at the same time, you have to hand it to Sri Lanka for the way they have handled this. They were on the money right from the go, not really allowing England to go anywhere with this innings. Kept picking up the wickets at crucial times, kept chipping away. Now the results are there for everyone to see as Madhu Shankar returns to bowl in the 19th over. That would be a Yorker. And, well, the strike is with Will Jacks as Overton takes a single. Will Jacks will have to perform a miracle, to be very honest. He has to perform nothing short of a miracle if England need to get to a respectable score. He is capable of it. We have seen him do it in leagues across the world as he goes for an aggressive shot and succeeds. That was drilled through the covers and the fielders could not stop it at all. That's a welcome boundary for England, but takes the score to only 131 for 7. They would be looking to target 150 now because they need something to bowl at. Something, anything. All right, Madhushankar runs into bowl again to Will Jacks, who is on 17 of 11. That would be a dot ball as that is a perfect wide Yorker. There's nothing Jacks could do about it at all. All right, Will Jacks drills the next one through the covers again, and that is a boundary, another welcome boundary for England. He's trying his best, Will Jacks, to keep the Union Jack flying. That was another wide Yorker attempted by Madhushankar. This time, Jacks manages to reach under it, guides it towards the boundary with lots of power. Brings the score to 135 for 7. 2 balls to go. What will Jacks do now? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. He has to go for the aggressive option, whatever it may be, because there is absolutely no point being cautious right now. If he goes, he goes. Oh, he charges down the pitch, Will Jacks. That is in the air, and that would be out. He attempted to hit a full toss towards the offside, attempting to clear the field, but he could not clear the boundary. That was a fine catch once again. Well, Will Jacks did his best, and that was well done again. Very impressive, just claiming the catch as his own and taking it clean. Will Jacks departs for a score of 21 of 14, and England toppling at 135 for 8. All right. Shanaka is the next batsman in, batting at number 10. He is known to hit a few big ones if the team needs it. Let's see how he manages against Madhushanka. Score is 135 for 8. Well, that one is in the air and it would be another wicket. A fine diving catch. A fine diving catch, that is. As Madhushanka gets another. And England's score is now looking like a sinking ship. 135 for 9 as Jofra goes for the first ball duck. And what a fine spell by Madhushanka. He kept applying the pressure in the power play and he got his rewards later in the death overs. Shamira will now return to bowl the last. Even if this is a 20 run over, England would only manage 155 as Adil Rashid joins the crease with Overton, who is again struggling at 2 of 5 deliveries. Oh, what kind of a shot was that? He attempted to lap it behind the wicket keeper, but could not even get back the ball. So that would be a dot ball for Overton, as he has 5 more deliveries to attempt to get England to some sort of respectability. This innings never really went anywhere. It did not take off. And as things stand now, well, it looks like they would be closing at something around 140, 145. Houghton slogs it towards mid on. That is intercepted by the fielder, but they have more than enough time to take 2 runs. That takes the England score to 137 for 9. All right. Oh, that is a wild slog by Jamie Overton, hit with a lot of power. He's a big man. And that is finally a six for England. Is this too little too late? Well, I can't tell you that right now, but it sure helps the score reach 143 for 9. A couple of more hits and they could cross 150, which is what they would want. What a shot that was. All right, only three more deliveries to go. It's not looking likely that England would reach a big score, considering the way they are going. With only three deliveries to go, 150, 155 should be an easy chase for Sri Lanka as they know they don't need to do anything silly. Just take along at 7, 8 and over, and they should be there. That one hits the pads of Overton and hopeful shout by Samira. As Shanaka asked for a review. Well, that looked not out to me, but the umpire has to go for the review now. And let's see if they manage to get England all out before the stipulated 20 overs. Well, there is no outside edge and it struck very wide of the leg stump. So I don't know what they were thinking before taking that review. I guess, just because we do have a review, let's take it. That must have been the thinking behind this decision. However, that is clearly a knockout and that is confirmed by the DRS. All right, last two deliveries to go. Adil Rashid to face. Will he go for the fixed shot or give the strike back to Overton? I think he has to attempt the big shot. Oh, that is an exceptional Yorker, and all Adil Rashid could do is dig it out with his bat. That would be only a single, as the last ball will be faced by a Jamie Overton with the score on 145 for 9. A big hit, a 6 would take them to 150. Are they up for it? Oh, that is again a single, as Overton can do nothing with that full toss. That ends the England innings at 146 for 9. As we will stop the stream now, see you back later.